Hey everyone, welcome back to this master series on learning coding patterns. In this series, our aim is to learn coding patterns in order to easily solve data structures questions and ace in our technical interviews. So today we are going to solve question number 904 of Leetcode, which is fruit into baskets. And we are going to solve this question using dynamic size sliding window approach. So this is a medium level difficulty question, but hopefully with the help of this visualization and the coding solution, this question will feel like a very easy, very simple question to you. Okay, so let's jump towards the question. So what this question is asking, this question is saying, like, given an array of fruits, find the max count of fruits you can pick based on some conditions. Okay, so what are these conditions? We are going to discuss it while discussing the solution. Okay, so here is an array of fruits. Okay, here we have guava, then apple, and then orange, and then again apple, and then apple. Okay, and here there are two pointers, left and right. Both of the pointers are initialized at 0 index. Okay, here you can see this highlighted part. This highlighted part is representing the window, so window will start from the initial 0 index. Okay, and then we have this fruit basket. This fruit basket is basically a dictionary. There are two baskets because there is a condition in the question that you can only use two baskets, and in the given two baskets you can only pick a single fruit and put it into the basket, a single type of fruit. Okay, for example, into this orange basket, if you have put orange, let's say, then in the other basket you can put either apple or guava, but you cannot put guava and apple both at the very same time. You can only put a single type of fruit inside a basket. Okay, now how many fruits you can put inside the basket, it is completely up to the array of fruits that we have. Okay, for example, if we have put apple here, okay, let's say here at this position, if we have found out an apple, we can put it here. And if at this position we have again found out an apple, we are going to put another apple to this apple basket. Okay, now can we remove can we remove a fruit from a basket? Yes, of course we can. Okay, it depends. Let's say we have already put two fruits. For example, this is a guava basket and this is an apple basket, and then we encounter an orange. Then what we will do, we will try to remove one fruit from one basket. Whether guava will be removed or apple will be removed, we will see in the solution part. But once one fruit will get removed, then and only then another fruit can be added to that basket, and then that basket will become of that fruit. Okay, and now here we have max count variable. Like always, we have solved quite a many questions of dynamic sliding window. So max count will basically keep the maximum count that we will find of our sliding window. Okay, you can say maximum size or length of our window. So if we will find size 3 sliding window, then what we are going to do, we are going to write down 3 here. If we will find 2 after finding out 3, then we are not going to update it, because 3 is bigger than 2. Okay, but let's say if the max count is 1 and afterwards we have found out a window that is of size 2, then we are going to update it because 2 is greater than 1. Okay, cool. So now let's jump towards the question. So here we are initializing these two pointers at 0 index, and so this is our window. So our window will start at 0 index. Right now in our window there's guava. So what we are going to do, we are simply going to come here and okay, so now we are going to put guava here, and then we are going to update the count of our window. So right now there's only one fruit in our window, so that's why we are going to write here 1. and here I have mentioned the formula for calculating max count. So right minus left plus 1. So right and left both are initialized at 0. So right now they are at 0 position. So 0 minus 0 is 0, plus 1 means plus 1. So now the final result will be 1. Then what we are going to do, plus we have to update the count here because it is a dictionary. So key is guava and the value is the count. So here we have updated 1. So right now there is 1 guava in our window. Cool. Now let's move right forward. So right will be used for the main traversal part, and then when we will move right forward, then our window will expand. So now our window also include an apple. So what we are going to do, we are going to come here and we are simply going to put apple here, and then what we are going to do, we are going to count how many apples are there in our window. There's only 1 apple, so let's update it. Let's update the value with 1. And now how many fruits are there in our window? So there are 2 fruits. Before, in our the size of our window was 1. Now size of our window is 2. So what we will do, we are simply going to update the max count with additional 1. So 1 plus 1 will become 2. Cool. Now what we will do, we will move this right 1 step forward, and this time right has encountered an orange. Okay, so this is a third type of fruit, but we cannot put orange here into our 2 baskets, so because both of them are occupied. So what we will do now, we are going to shrink our window. Okay, I forgot to expand it. Okay, so now we are going to shrink our window. So how we are going to shrink our window? Simply by moving left 1 step forward. So our window will get shrinked to the next element where left was previously. So now left is at first index, and if you now in our window there is no guava. So it means that if we come here, our guavas count has become 0. So there are 0 guavas at the moment in our window. Okay, so now what we will do, we are simply going to remove this guava from our dictionary. Why we are going to remove this guava from our dictionary? Simply because its count has become 0. If let's say it count was 1, or let's say any other number, so what we would have done, we would have continuously moved left forward till which point? Till the point that any of the given fruit had become 0. So when any of the fruit would have become 0, we would have removed that fruit from our basket, and once we will be done with removing that fruit from our basket, what we will do, we are going to simply put the new fruit into the basket and update our fruit basket dictionary with the count. So right now there are 2 elements in our window. So let's move our window forward, and how we are going to do this, we are simply going to move right 1 step forward, and right has found an apple here. So let's expand our window. So now in our window there are 2 types of fruits, apple and oranges. Okay, one condition is good. Now how many apples are there? There are 2 apples and 1 orange. So let's update the count of apple. Previously it was just 1. Now there are 2 apples and 1 orange in our window. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to update our max count. Max count simply means right minus left plus 1, or simply how many fruits are there in these 2 baskets, and whether the count of fruits in our baskets is greater than the one we have seen previously. So yes, now 2 plus 1 is 3, and previously we have seen only 2. There were only you can say 2 fruits, not just 2 type, but the count was 2. So now the count is 3. So what we are going to do, we are going to update it with 3. Cool. Now what we will do, we will move right one step forward, and again right has encountered another apple. So what we are going to do, we are again going to update the count of apple. So come here and update it with 3. Okay, there are 3 apples and 1 orange. Okay, now 3 plus 1 is 4, and previously what was the count? The count was 3. So now what we are going to do, we are going to update the count with 4. Now we cannot proceed any further because array like here array gets complete. So what we are going to do, we are going to move towards our coding part. But before going towards the coding part, I would encourage you, like here now array is done. So what you can do, you can pause the video here and go to Leetcode and try to solve this question on your own. I know it is a medium difficulty level, but I mean based on what I have just made you understand, I believe like solving this question would be not that much difficult as I believe it was before this visualization. And so my personal recommendation is try to solve this question on your own. Try to build up some intuition, at least some level of intuition, okay, how this question is going to proceed. And once you are done with your question, whether you get it right or wrong, then come again and then continue with this video, and then try to compare your solution with mine and see, okay, where your solution is better than mine, or where you went wrong. Okay, I believe learning is a continuous process, and plus it is better to learn together rather than alone. So if you will solve this question on your own, and hopefully you will come up with a better solution than mine, then feel free to come forward and just in the comments mention that yes, you have found out this approach or this method that is working better as compared to mine, and I will learn from it. Okay, so I personally consider myself as a student. So if you think like, okay, you have found out a better way of solving this question, feel free to come forward and share it. I'll be grateful for that. Okay, so we are now done with this visual understanding part. So now let's jump towards the coding part. So here we are at Leetcode. The question number is 904. And as mentioned earlier, like the difficulty level of this question is medium. Okay, we are not going to jump into the details here because we have already mentioned in the visualization part, but this is the case that we have just seen in the example that we understood earlier. So here, rather than guava and apple and oranges, here are just numbers, but these numbers are just labels. Okay, so you can say 1 is representing guava, let's say 2 is representing apple, and 3 is representing orange. Again we have found out 2, so it means another apple, and again there's 2, so it means another apple. Okay, so now let's jump towards the solution part. So how we are going to solve this question. So initially we had 4 variables. Okay, so let's say one variable was max count for counting the size of our window. Okay, you can say, and then we had left. So left was a pointer, and we had a dictionary which was fruits basket. Okay, and it was a dictionary. The size of this dictionary will always remain 2. Why 2? Because whenever it will cross 2, it means we are breaching one of the conditions. The condition was you can only pick 2 type of fruits at a time. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to now create our 4th variable, which is right pointer. Okay, and here we are mentioning fruit, and what this fruit simply means, this fruit will represent an element, you can say. So let's say if right will start from like 1. Yes, so if right will start from 1, which is at 0th index, so fruit will represent this 1. Okay, when right will move to the second element, so fruit will become 2. Then when it will move to third element, it will become 3. Then again at fourth element, fruit will become 2. Okay, for right in enumerate and then fruits. Basically fruits is this this array. Okay, so this right, if I go for commenting part, so this right is basically representing idx index, and this is representing element. Okay, then what we are going to do, we are first going to update our fruits basket dictionary. So whatever we will find as right will move forward in this array, whatever we will find, we are going to update our fruits basket accordingly. So fruits basket, then bracket, then we are going to type fruits and fruit. Okay, so what we are doing here, fruits basket, and then in the brackets I have mentioned fruit. So what this fruit is doing, basically this fruit will become key. So consider guava will become key when 2, so apple will become key. Okay, and then what will be the value? So value will be fruits basket dot get, and then fruit comma 0 plus 1. Okay, so what is happening here? So fruits basket is this dictionary, dot get is a method in Python for dictionary, and what this dot get will do, if whatever the fruit will be at right index, whatever right will encounter, okay, if that fruit will already be present in our fruits basket dictionary, whatever that key whatever the value that key will contain, it will bring it here, and then it will add 1 to it to update the count. Okay, but let's say if there will be no fruit already seen in the fruits basket by Python before, so what will happen, 0 will be assigned to that fruit, okay, in our dictionary, and then 0 will come up here, and then 1 will be added. 0 simply means like, okay, this is the first time Python will see this fruit in fruits basket, and then what will happen, 1 will be added to that value, so the count will increase by 1. So it means like this is the first instance of finding out that particular kind of fruit. But let's say in the apple case, so if apple has already been seen by Python, so what Python will do, Python will bring up whatever the value apple has in a fruits basket. Let's say in previous case it had 2, so what will happen, plus 1, which means like, okay, now this new encounter of apple will be added to our fruits basket dictionary. Okay, so this is how this code will work. Now what we are going to do next, we are going to mention loop. So while length of our fruits basket, okay, is greater than 2, which simply means like whenever a third type of fruit, okay, in our visualization we encountered first guava and then apple, but whenever the third type of fruit right will find, for example in the visualization part we found out an orange, so what we will do, so first of all we are going to update the count. Okay, we are going to decrement the count because we want to shrink our window. So what we are going to do, fruits and then left. Okay, now left pointer, let's say in the initial part here 0 will come, and this is the fruits array, so 0 means 1. Okay, now what? So 1 will be treated as a key in fruits basket, and whatever the count of 1 would be in our basket, we are going to simply decrement it. And then we are going to define the logic of whenever a fruit will have 0 count, which means like, okay, now there isn't any sort of instance of that fruit is present in our basket. Then what will happen? We are simply going to remove that fruit from our basket, and we are going to update our basket with a new one. Okay, so what will be the logic of removal of that fruit? So it will be if fruits basket fruits left, okay, count will be 0. Okay, so what we will do, del and then fruits basket fruits left. Okay, so we are basically going to delete that item from our basket, from our dictionary. Then what we are going to do, we are going to increment our left to move 1 step forward. Okay, because we want to shrink our window, right? And once like we are done with this while logic, then we are going to jump towards working on our max count. So max count logic is pretty simple. We are going to use max function, which will compare max count's previous value with the current one, and the formula of current one is right minus left plus 1. Okay, and finally we are going to return max count. Right, so let's click on run. Okay, so initial test cases got accepted. Now let's click on submit. Okay, so all the test cases got accepted. Perfect. So I hope like now after the visual understanding and the coding part, this question will seem easy to you, though its difficulty level is medium. But I believe like after that much time, I mean, at least you have built up the intuition, okay, how the question will be solved and how this code works. Okay, so still, if you face any concern, if you have any query, any question, feel free to reach out to me in the comments. Please mention your question, and do remember to tag me. It's at Ali Hussainiya. Okay, and then what will happen, like I will get a notification and I will try my best to respond as early as possible. Okay, my recommendation is please keep trying out these questions. Please try to put at least some portion of your day into solving Leetcode questions daily. Try to be consistent, and hopefully things will start to make sense to you, and eventually they will feel easy. Okay, these questions are not difficult if you are working on them, and if you are building your intuition. So this is just like a muscle memory. Okay, so basically just like muscles, it will take time. You won't become Arnold in a day, but eventually with the passage of time, things will start to make sense to you, and things that seem hard today will seem quite easy if you will put hours, efforts, your sweat in it. Okay, so best wishes for your technical interviews. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll see you in the next video with a new question, and till then, take care. Bye. Peace.